Hey, it's Adriana Monique Alvarez, and we are live again to talk about how do you talk to and handle the already wealthy clients. I go by Monique. A lot of you have asked me. I have to go by my full name online because there's an actress, Monique Alvarez, and we're in a constant SEO war, but my family's always called me Monique. So we're going with Monique. So many of you have been watching the videos, been sending me messages and emails. So number one, thank you so much for watching the videos and for telling me exactly what's been helpful, because that enables me and inspires me to create more videos for you that are actually going to be helpful. So I'm going to make sure this is streaming over on Facebook as well. Tell me hi, tell me where in the world you're joining from. And what I want you to know is that I did a post on social media today, and I told a story about when Derek and I met. So Derek and I actually met on a blind date almost 19 years ago, and our anniversary is 7707. And so as soon as he met me, as soon as he was introduced to me, he knew he literally says he knew I was the one. And I was old school, right? I was a good girl. I was going to be loyal for life, have babies, all the things, cook and clean, and, be that kind of wife. And Derek had the opportunity. He had me in his sights, is what I said in the post. He had the opportunity to play his cards right. And he did. And the way I started off the post is I said, if he would have invited me to Dollar Beer Night, I would have never talked to him again. I want to show you how to speak to the already rich people. I told you in a previous video, and I'll make sure we link to previous videos, that the already wealthy clients, the rich and powerful people, are everywhere. They are literally next to you. You may or may not have the awareness, but I'm telling you that they are. Knowing that they're everywhere, then it becomes really important on how you conduct yourself and how you communicate. In the previous video where I talk about boiling point content, I talk about how when you are online and you're in Facebook groups and you're on your own profiles and you're doing your own videos and your own stories and your own emails, how you've got to get to that boiling point just to get noticed. So what I do is I create boiling point content. You all notice, you lean in, you keep reading, you keep watching, you message, you reach out, you say, hey, what's that thing you got? Boiling point content is about turning it up and about being willing to be more real, more raw, more blunt, more unfiltered. Because as you all have told me, and I'm on social media all the time, most people are saying about the same things. It becomes extremely predictable. How many of you are in Facebook groups and you literally from day to day, you can predict what the posts are going to be about? There's, maybe 5 or 6 topics, and everyone's going to talk about the same things. Everyone uses the same vocabulary. Everyone is about the same level of entertaining, the same level of intriguing, right? Not that exciting. So I want you to go back and watch the video on boiling point content, because until you have your own unique perspective and you know how to articulate it and you start using your own vocabulary, this is one of the things I literally say nonstop. You've got to create your own vocabulary. You cannot say all the words in your lingo, the industry lingo, all the buzzwords, all the things that are in right now. Like, I swear, if I hear, one more thing about my nervous system, I'm going to poke my eye out. If I hear one more thing about feminine wealth, like I just can't anymore. Like, find another way to say it. But today is different. So you have to crank it up and you have to be unique and you have to be fresh in order for them to turn their head and notice and slow down that scroll. But then there's an entire way to talk to the already wealthy, and that's what we're going to cover today. So I'd love for you to tell me in the comments, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable do you feel right now today talking to the already wealthy about who you are, what you do, what you offer, your service, product, experience, whatever you have? You want to just gauge where you are. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just about knowing where you are, because this is what I can guarantee you. The less confident you are, the least likely you are to even start a conversation or initiate a conversation or to lead a conversation. And I want to say this loud and clear. I'm going to say it about 14 times through this training. If you do not know how to lead others, the already rich client is not going to hire you. They have to lead all day, every day. They have to lead so many people. They have to make so many decisions. They make more decisions in a day than most people do in a year. And the already wealthy, when they hire you for your particular area of expertise, when they hire you for that, they are expecting you to lead them through that process. They do not want to lead themselves through that process. That's why they're hiring you. So the more confident you feel, the more likely you are to spark the conversation and lead them. The less confident you feel, the less likely you are to do this. And oftentimes people, this is the first mistake they make. They're like, oh, they're more accomplished than me, or they're older than me, or they made more money than me. So, I'm going to let them lead the way. Now, leadership is essential. So I've got my notes here, so I stay on track. So in my story with Derek, I started off, the first line said, had he invited me to dollar beer night, I would have never talked to him again. The reason why is I've never drank a beer in my life. And at that time, I definitely hadn't drank a beer. And I wouldn't be interested in someone who thinks that taking me to dollar beer night is the right environment for me, or I would feel comfortable in that. The other thing is this, is if he would have taken me to dollar beer night, it's like I'm one of the guys. Like that's what guys do, right? That's what guys do on a Friday night when they're 24, 25 years old, however old they are, right? In the early 20s, that's like a guy thing. Don't make me one of the guys. Also, it would have, for me personally, signaled like, oh, okay, I'm dollar beer night budget, right? When Derek asked my dad if he could marry me, the first thing, we still give my dad a hard time about this. The first thing that came out of my dad's mouth was, you need to know one thing. Monique is not used to living poor. And many times I've told Derek that should have been your warning. And many times Derek has said, and your dad was not lying. So dollar beer night just wasn't in alignment with who I was. Now, mind you, I had just got to Tucson a few months earlier. I had been living overseas. I've been living in Myanmar, Albania, and Kenya as a volunteer in orphanages. And I had been living on $300 a month. I had the most insane lifestyle, the craziest stories. I have, went months without water, months without showering, no electricity. I know how I had to at one point like kill the pig, butcher the pig. Like there were times when I go 2 weeks with no food. I've been in some crazy things. However, the standard for how I was going to live, and a guy who was going to show me that he was like marriage material, that's not the life I want. I know how to live in the craziest of conditions. You can drop me off anywhere in the world with like a passport, a piece of gum, and a paperclip, and I will survive even though I look like this. And actually, I'll probably end up doing really well and leading the tribe. However, if I was going to add a man to my life, if I was going to get married, my life needed to be better than it was without him. And just as a side note, this is good dating advice. Like if the guy you're with, if your life isn't better because he's in your life, then break up with him immediately. So he showed me, he immediately asked me out. So that was number one, because I don't like a guy who cannot pursue me. I'm not going to pursue the guy. So he pursued me, he immediately asked me out. He didn't let a week or two go by. He didn't let that sit. He invited me to dinner at a reasonable time. I'm not a girl who leaves the house at 10 p.m. That's not who you're getting. You can find those girls in plenty of places. And he knew I had traveled the world. He found out from this friend who set us up. He knew that I traveled the world. He knew I was adventurous. He knew I was, boring isn't going to do it for me. Sorry. Like this is why I was never interested in the accountants and the architects and the bankers. They're just they bore me to tears, right? So he invites me to dinner, and it's at a reasonable time. It was within a couple of days, and he invited me to a restaurant. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was a Southern, like Cajun restaurant, and they served gator, fresh gator. Well, he hit so many things with that. In that one invitation, he nailed it. This guy is fun. He's adventurous. He's willing to try new things. He gets me. He's respectful of me. He understands who he's dealing with. Same is true with the already wealthy client. When you communicate with them, when you present your offer, when you're in a conversation, whether you're networking online or in person, whether you're talking face to face, on the phone, on Zoom, in Messenger, that doesn't matter. None of that matters. But what matters is every single word you say. This is gold. I have to say this and come back. Thanks. So this is the key. And I want to give you a few things to tuck away, because it's not difficult to have conversations with the already wealthy. This isn't rocket science. I want to be clear. I cater to the already wealthy from the first, like out the gate. I mean, we started our business 16 years ago this month in Tucson, Arizona. I went to a networking event every single time there was one, and I made observations that there's basically two groups of people. The people who are going after sort of the middle class, who everyone, like their dollars are getting spread so thin, everyone's kind of going for them, and they need a good deal because everyone's kind of aiming for them. And then the people who only spoke to people who already had a lot of money. And there was a lot less in this group, and there was a lot more to go around. And so it just made sense to me in 2009, go for these people. That is just, that's easy. I like easy, right? That made sense to me. But the thing of it is that I want you to know, I had no previous work experience. I was a volunteer overseas. I told you that. I graduated high school. I went overseas. I was a volunteer. I came back to the US when I got malaria, met my husband, we started a business. I had no college degree, no MBA here. I didn't have any of the things that you would think like those are markers for success. Derek and I joke about all the time. No one would have ever bet on us to have the amount of success that we've had. Nobody. He was an art grad, art student. He had just graduated from the U of A, and I just came back from Kenya. People had been like, yeah, good luck for these two. Like, we'll put 2 years on it, and that'll be it. It's going to go up in smoke. But this is the thing that I knew for sure. That was an easier route, and I learned from the people around me. So one of the strengths that I have, and it came in handy when I lived overseas, it came in handy when I was in crazy situations, is I would observe. I would become very aware of my surroundings, and I would learn. I would observe, I would listen, I would learn, and I would adapt. So as they did in Rome, I did in Rome, right? As the Albanians did, I did in Albania. As the Burmese did, I did in Myanmar. Like, I can acclimate and I can adapt. So when I was networking in Tucson and I observed the people who were going after the people with money and finding solutions to their unique problems, I had my ears turned on. I also, by listening to them, I thought back and I'd have these references of when my parents, growing up, and my parents' unique situation. They both had businesses. They both really did well from a young age. And as a kid, I never noticed it because, however you're raised, you just think everyone grows up the same way. As a kid, I had absolutely no observation. I knew nothing about business, and I did not really learn anything from my parents about business until I had started my business and I was around these people, and I would then have flashbacks to like, oh yeah, I remember my parents complaining about that. Oh, I remember that was a challenge for them. Oh yeah, they never had any friends either. Oh, people were jealous of them too. Oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden I was having these epiphanies. If you're willing to learn and you're willing to observe, that will go a very long way. So we have to know that these high caliber people, the already wealthy, the already successful, the already established, you've got to approach them in the right way. I had someone this week approach me, and I posted this on social media, and I said, this is how you don't do it. So this was somebody who had seen my video, seen me in groups, of course, right? Everyone sees me because I have boiling point content. So I'm the most visible person in the world. And my Facebook stats show it, right? So she immediately sends me a message and says, hi, it's nice chatting with you. and says, I'm a freelancer with diverse skills. I do website design, lead generation, Facebook ads, Google ads, sales funnel, automations, and social media management. I can help your brand attain high-level online presence. So there's so many things in this, just like Derek's initial invitation to dinner. Her initial invitation, her initial conversation with me said everything. So how many of you can break down what she did wrong, where this went sideways? Number one, I love that she started a conversation. Nothing wrong with that. This, like I said, you want to initiate. You cannot be afraid to spark a conversation. And for projectors, I have strategies for you. Well, I'll just say this. The things that already successful people are looking for myself and my business, I only hire specialists. So the people who create covers for our authors' books, they only design covers. They're not like, I design covers and I tint windows and I do taxes on the side. Oh, and I throw in some landscape in the summer. No, I do not want those people in my business. I want people who are absolutely the best at what they do for the thing they do. So what she did when she said, first of all, I'm a freelancer, right? Like I have to say, that was the first 4-letter word, right? I don't want to work with a freelancer. And I don't want to work with someone with a diverse skill set. I mean, my God, what do you do? What are you actually good at? Because when she listed off everything, I'm like, there's no way that she's the best at all of these things. What people do when they get in front of the already wealthy and the already successful, because they tend to compare themselves and they notice all the things that maybe they feel less than about, they want to overcompensate. Anyone ever done that? Anyone ever tried to overcompensate? It backfires big time. Ooh, let me tell you all the things I'm looking at because I'm nervous and I'm afraid that you won't think I'm good enough. So let me tell you how I'm good enough and I can do everything and anything. If you want me to make your lunch, I can do that too. You want me to pick up your kids and your dry cleaning? Oh my God, I can do that as well. Do not overcompensate. Even if you're good at a lot of things, don't say you're good at a lot of things. You have to focus on the thing that they need help with right now and leave the rest of it out of the conversation. Later, they will figure that out. Later, they will trust you with more. But in that moment, you're going to just be that very specific solution. I will tell you, the already wealthy have often hired me to fix one thing, solve one problem, create one opportunity to do one thing. They don't want bonuses. They don't want extras. They don't want libraries. They don't want all the bells and whistles. They don't want the kitchen sink. They do not want any of that. They want one thing. And this thing matters to them. It's costing them time and money. It's creating stress. It's not pleasant. And they feel it. And they want a solution to that thing. When we try to throw in the rest of it, they go, you're not the right person. No, you know what? You're not it. So this is a huge thing. You do not want to pile things on, trying to overcompensate, trying to feel better about yourself. Right along with that, when you're speaking to already successful people, this is what I observed in Tucson. You have to walk into that space. When I started off, I went into in-person networking events and I'd sit in my car. I'd rehearse my 60-second commercial. I would, set myself. I would leave everything that had happened in my day, my morning, good, bad, or other, and I'd stick it in the back seat. Say, I'm coming back for you, but I'm walking in there as fresh and clear as possible. And I would leave every single bit of self-consciousness, self-doubt in the car. What the already wealthy do not want to have to deal with is our insecurities, the brain that's just like, oh my gosh, their outfit is better than mine. Why did I wear that other dress? Oh my gosh, they probably noticed that I stuttered. I said the wrong thing. I forgot what I was gonna say in my 60 seconds. When your shit is the loudest voice in the room, they know it. They have no desire to pay you and then pep talk you, soothe your insecurities, give you a confidence booster. I have literally watched conversations in person at networking events Someone will walk up into a conversation and go, hi, oh, so sorry to interrupt. I'm just like a real fan. I want to introduce myself. And oh, I'm so nervous. I didn't even want to talk to, I was nervous about even introducing myself, but I just wanted you to know, like, I think I have something that could help you. Leave all that stuff behind. Do not put that on them. You could be nervous. You could be sweating bullets. You're never going to say it. It's not fun. It's not cute. And going back to this example, what the lady said is I can help you achieve this. I don't like this approach and I don't recommend it for the already successful. As soon as you say, hey, Becky, it's nice to meet you. I'm a such and such, yada, yada, and I can help you lose 50 pounds. I can help you get back to the size you were before you had babies. I can help you make look more high end online. I can help you whatever. They immediately don't like you. Anyone want to know why? Why do they immediately not like you? Because right within the this is what I can help you with, there is a point of criticism, meaning this is where I think you're not doing that great of a job. This is where I think you need assistance. Now, that could be true, but you cannot present it in that way. What you're going to bump up against is their ego. And I guarantee you their ego is bigger than yours. Good, bad, or other, it's just the case. So that is a losing battle. You want them to come to the conclusion that you are the person that can help them. And you want them to say, hey, listen, you know what? You want them to open up. Hey, I've got this thing and, I want to see what you can do to help me with that. Is that something that you do? There's a way to have the conversation, but in saying like, hey, I can help you with this. You don't ever want to tell a woman like, hey, I can help you lose 50 pounds. Like, unless you want her to like send a horse's head, right? The next thing I want to say is this, is that I said this in the beginning, the energy of leadership is probably the strongest and most important thing in networking, communicating, collaborating, working with already rich people. They don't want to be chased in the way that I just described. Initiating conversations, sparking conversations, all good. But being chased, no. Being things pointed out for them, no. Being kind of putting them in this feeling of like being trapped, like, oh, I really want to meet you. The minute they feel like your connection with them is to elevate yourself and your image, they're done. And even if you can help them they're going to feel used by you. They're going to feel like they need to be careful about what they say with you. And you cannot work with the already wealthy if they don't trust you. If they don't feel like there's going to be absolute and complete confidentiality. Privacy is extremely important to them. And if your mind is already clicking on like, if I get this client, then that can help me get other clients. And if I can't do it, they'll smell it from a mile away. Okay. The other thing they smell from a mile away is desperation. Like I said, when you go into the overcompensating, the people pleasing, the over delivery, I can throw this in for you if you do it today, right? Don't do that. You want to stand tall. This is one of the things I tell my clients all the time. You need to stand up straighter. Put your shoulders back, go against the wall. You need to be 10 feet tall and bulletproof. You need to stand tall. You need to be postured. Have you ever watched, these beautiful dancers like in South America and they're like, whatever, what's the dance, the flamingo or something, right? Are they like all limp and, no, they have this posture, this firmness, right? They're being led in the dance, but they're also not just limp. Having this sort of posture is really, really important. Even if you're shaking on the inside, you've got to have the posture. They're going to feel it if you don't. The other thing that I would say is when you have that energy of being able to stand up straight, they know that you can hang with them because they're a different type of clientele. They have different levels of stress. They have different levels of success. They have different problems. And they constantly are having to deal with things that other people don't, like, it's never even crossed their mind. And so, like, when you melt in their presence, you can't, what you're communicating is you can't actually handle it. So what I would say is this, in addition to these things, there's words that are just off limits, right? And basically the way that I could say this is anything and everything that you'd say on a smaller ticket item to people who are maybe beginning in their business or who are less established or who have less money, less confidence, right? There's people who can start a business and already be wealthy from something else. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, let's create a clear contrast here. When you are speaking to one group, you cannot use those same words for the other group, like none of the same words. The already wealthy, they value time way more than money because they can make more money. They can think of more ideas. They can make their money work for them. Money is not an issue. Multiplying their money is not an issue. No matter how rich someone is, they can never get more time. They can never get more than 24 hours in a day. They cannot live 100 years longer than anyone else. Time is the most valuable thing they have. So when you are communicating in your posts, in your emails, in your videos, in your conversations, if you are highlighting the value of time and how this saves them time, it's going to be music to their ears. If you're saying things like, this will, I can find a more affordable option for you, that's speaking to the other group of people. For this other group of people, money is more of a valued commodity because they haven't figured out how to make more money. Most people, especially people who have a job, they're not going to make much more money than they are right now. Even if they climb any little ladder that they can, they're pretty limited, right? When people are first, starting off in their business, they don't understand. They're not yet at that place where they are a walking, talking ATM. So money and keeping the budget and all of those expenses in mind is really, really important to them. So every single word you use, you have to kind of pause and ask yourself, and if you have marketed and if you have done posts and programs and all the things for this group of people, you've got to really slow yourself down before you hit publish on a post, on an email, on all the things. You've got to really check your words because it's going to be habit to go this other direction. You want to check every single word. What should I say? Oh, the last thing I want to say is this. When you're talking to the already wealthy, you don't want to behave like you're in an audition. You want to behave like you already belong, like you've already got it. You're the obvious choice. Perfect insight. All right, let's weave that. My phone is talking to me. You've got to hold that kind of feeling. Okay, so when you think about the example of Derek, I want to weave in one more part that I said in the story. He asked me to dinner. We had a great time. He continued to ask me to dinner. He did not disappear on me. He was not unpredictable, like, ask me out and then cancel, ask me out and then not show up when he said he was going to show up, disappear for 3 weeks, date other people at the same time. Like, he remained consistent. He remained trustworthy. He remained the way that I saw him on that first date. Similar things are necessary in relationships with the already wealthy. You've got to be very consistent. They need to know what they're going to get from you. And if there's a change, you've got to communicate that with them. The other thing that he did is we dated. Like, we were always together, always doing stuff. So he was allowing me to get to know him and he was getting to know me. But there was this critical point. I'm not interested in dating someone for 5 years. I'm not interested in living with someone I'm not married to. So he reached this critical point, 10, 12 months into the relationship. I didn't say this, but I was thinking it. I was not going to say anything. I'm going to see what this man is going to do. He sees who he has. What is he going to do with me? Is he going to ask me to marry him? Or is he just going to carry on dating me? Well, he passed the test because he asked me to marry him. Actually, I don't know. He asked me to marry him in February. We started dating in July. He asked me to marry him in February. We got married in July. So we got married a year after we met. He didn't sit on it. He didn't put this thought in my mind like, is he not that into me? If he was that into me, why hasn't he asked me to marry him, right? I'm not going to date a guy for 5 years. If you've been dating a guy for 5 years and he's not proposing to you, dump him, right? He's not interested in the same things you are. That was a critical point. There's these critical points in a relationship with the already wealthy, and they're not going to tell you what the critical points are. They're going to see how you handle it. One of these critical points could be that you are constantly looking for solutions to the things that are coming up. So they might have hired you for this initial thing. And as you're working with them and as you're listening, as you're getting to know who they are, whatever it is, right? Their health, their family dynamic, their relationship, their business, whatever industry you're in. And if you don't have your eyes open and you are not looking into their future and anticipating their needs and saying, hey, listen, Bob, I know that you hired me for this, but the thing I've been noticing is that this happens, and I think it would save you a lot of time and it would help retain yada, yada, and it could create another stream of revenue to yada, yada if we did this in anticipation of that. Hey, Lisa, I know you hired me to be your personal trainer, and we have this thing. We're going to get you down to this weight and this size. We're going to increase muscle mass and all that. But the thing I've been noticing and listening is that food is actually the biggest challenge here. So I have a friend. She's a personal chef. Would you like me to introduce you? See if you guys hit it off. Because I think having a plan for your food is going to be the single most important thing in you getting to the size and the weight that you want to be. You see what I'm saying? You are thinking about what they need and you are observing them. The already wealthy, they take care of everyone else. They anticipate the needs of everyone else. No one is anticipating their needs. No one is taking care of them. Almost nobody. And if you do that, you're a keeper, just like Derek's keeper. So there's so many things that you can do in the relationship to enhance it, to continue it, to take it to new and better places for you and them. All right, I think I've said enough for today. If you've got any questions, be sure and leave them in the comments. A lot of you asked me about legendary leaders, and one of you said, okay, I want to know more. Drop more on your next video. So the way I'm going to do this is if you want to work with the already wealthy, I'm going to do a 5-week program. I'm going to offer it in April, August, and December. So let's let you know, right? I'm there now, Monique. I'm going to be there later. Be then, right? You get to decide when's right for you. I'm going to open up 5 spots each time I do this. So I started off with 5 spots a couple days ago. We're down to 2 spots. So 3 have already been taken. If you want to work with the already wealthy, what does it actually look like? It's very customized because it's personalized one-on-one work. You are never in a group. This is never like, here's the plan and you follow the 4 steps. There are no steps. We look at you as the individual. So I am going to look at your human design, your astrological sign, your life path number, all the things. And honestly, it's for me more than it is for you. You already know who the heck you are. I don't want to take you out of alignment with who you are. You don't even have to believe in any of that. It's just, I need to be able to know you like I've known you for 10 years, and I can do that with those numbers. I'm going to look at your business. I'm going to look at your offers. I'm going to look at what is your aim? What do you want more of? And figure out what is the messaging, what is the wording, what is the actual verbal, written communication, and also where and how are we going to position you so that your dream client, the already wealthy client, comes to this conclusion on their own that they want to hire you and that they want to pay you the amount of money that you're charging. We come up with this plan. We go over it together in an hour consultation. It's recorded. You have it forever. But plans are only so good. One of my favorite quotes is, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Mike Tyson, genius. So then what we do is we take the plan and we actually walk it out. Have you email it? Have you put it on social media? Have you put it in my favorite groups wherever I think your clients are hanging out, right? Whatever plan we come up with for you specifically. And we see, how do people respond? Are we at boiling point content? Do we grab their attention? And then are they moving towards you? It is not hard to know when we've nailed it. People move towards you. How many people moved toward me in the last week, right? How many people move toward me every single day? People move toward me. It's not like, well, I don't know if it's working. If people are not moving towards you, if you do not get 30 friend requests overnight, 100 friend requests overnight, if you don't get hundreds of new followers, if you don't get hundreds of people jumping in your DMs, if you don't have people replying to your every email that you send out saying, I want to take you up on this. I just paid. Right before I got on here, I got another thing saying, oh, I just paid. If that's not happening, it's not nailing it. That's how you know. It's not like a mystery. I want to take all the mystery out of this. We communicate whatever way you want to communicate, phone, text, Zoom, Messenger, whatever it is, and we go back and forth, and I say, okay, you put that, what's the response? Okay, we're gonna tweak it. This is what I want you to do next. And we're back and forth for 5 weeks until we nail this. Why do I do 5 weeks? Most of the people I work with, they just need refinement. We're not going from 0 to 10. We're going from like 8.5 to 10. This isn't for people who are like, I don't know, Monique, I don't even know what a post is. I've never posted on social media. I'm new to this. No, this is not for you. You have to have a sense of who you are. You have to have a sense of who you want to work with. You've got to have some things in place. I can't start from kindergarten, right? But this refinement, this 8.5 to 10 is where the magic happens and where the momentum happens. And once you have momentum, you have everything. Can people work with me longer? Absolutely. I have some clients who do this with me every single month. They're just month-to-month clients, right? But most people, they get it in the 5 weeks. I light a fire under their bum. I point them in the right direction. Do you feel what boiling point content is? Do you see what it sounds like when you're talking to the already wealthy versus these people? And then you're trying to straddle the line. Most of my clients, they can feel it. It's practice, and so then they're good to go. I have 2 spots left. It's $33.33 USD. I have you submit everything to me. Then I prepare. We have our hour consultation. And for 5 weeks, we're actually on the field playing the motherfucking game, not talking about it. Not in college, not in a cute little notebook, but we're actually on the field. So some of you have asked, well, what are you going to do in between these things? What I'm going to do in between these offers, because this is going to be April, August, and December, I'm going to be working with the women who are walking a similar path that I did 2 years ago, that have hit the highest levels of success. They've achieved more than they ever thought they would. Tons of recognition, visibility, maybe even big features in major publications, billboards, all the things, keynote speakers, published authors, and they have the problems of powerful, rich women. They have jealous friends. They have enemies in their family. They have haters and copycats online. They've got trolls every freaking day. They are dealing with all of these things, and they have no support system for it. They have no solutions for it. These in-between months, I'm going to be working with the women who have grown bigger than anyone ever thought they would, bigger than everyone around them, and they're out in this space completely alone. And I want to help shore up the most important things that I learned in the last 2 years. I'm going to be talking about what are those telltale signs when there's actually, like, it's the sirens are actually going off, but you don't often know it until it's too late. So it might be women that already crashed and burned, or they're crashing and burning, or there's definitely some signals going off. Women who are battling the things that success brings. But instead of backing down and shrinking down, learning how to lean into that, how to actually use that to move higher, to be bigger, and to keep going without fear, without the proving energy, without the just pedal to the metal, but through this true internal stability. Those are the women that I want to help in the in-between months. I'll be bringing, rolling more out about that. And of course, Alma Publishing is always publishing the stories of incredible, dynamic people. So we've got collaboration books and solo authors. And honestly, that's always churning and always going, always awesome, because I find when people tell their story and when people use their voice, they write their story in a book, they're doing the boiling point content on social media. I mean, how could your business not grow, honestly? There's just no way it won't. How could you not get more opportunities, right? So this all comes together. I so appreciate you watching the videos. Be sure to share this with a friend who would find it helpful. Until next time, have an awesome weekend.